Hi, this is Danny. Welcome to the final lesson, which is lesson 10 on how to play the saxophone for beginners. If you haven't seen the rest of the videos in this series, then please go and have a look at my channel and have a look at the other 9 videos. In lesson 9, we dealt with the extreme highs of the instrument, getting into the palm keys and right up the top, right into that 3rd octave. In this lesson, we are at the other end. We're at the bottom of the instrument, the lowest notes that it can play. So for all of these notes, you are going to need all of these fingers down. All of your G notes, your G notes. The reason I'm saying G is because of bag, C bag. So your C bag hand is down and your Fed hand is down. Then we're going to add this one, which is the low C. So if the instrument is vertical in its normal position, it's the lowest one, the lowest key down. Now, saxophone can be very, very strange because saxophone can be very strange in the sense that you would think that every time you add a key that you are getting lower down the instrument. But sometimes you will add a key, then press another key and it's actually higher than the one before. And sometimes it's really confusing. Like I say, you would think every time you press a key that you're actually getting lower and lower, but that isn't always the case. Which is true of C sharp. So C sharp is between C and D. If you don't know how your sharps and flats work, they're in a previous video. But here we have C, but C sharp is over here on the left, and it's this key here. So the one furthest out from the instrument. So you have this pressed down and this pressed down. That will give you a C sharp. So now we're going D, which is the bottom of Fed, D, that C sharp note, and then C. The note after that is low B. Low B still has C on. In fact, all of these notes are going to use this C key, but we use the one closer to the instrument. So this was C sharp. We take it off and keep this on, and we have C. And then we go to this one, which is a low B. Now, to add a slightly controversial viewpoint on this, if you're learning saxophone for your own enjoyment, you're not too bothered if you go out and join a band, maybe you're going to do a few jam nights and things, but it's just for your own entertainment. It's going to be a hobby. I would say that probably C and C sharp is as low as you'll find yourself going. It would be very rare to go down to low B. If it's just for fun and that's what you want to do, you can probably avoid low B. And you could definitely avoid low B flat, which just sounds like a ship coming in. So we've got C, C sharp, low B, and B flat is the big one at the bottom. And some saxophones like this one will have a slight curl on it. And the reason for that is if you slide down to it, it stops your little finger from doing exactly that, from falling off. It should stop your finger from doing that. And the reason it sounds like a ship is... So, that is everything. That is every key on this instrument. The only one that I think we haven't touched upon is this fella here, which is the middle of the 3. And for a long time, I didn't know what this did. But to play a B to a C, you can see that you've got to, if you want to play them quickly between each other, you've got to get this kind of motion going on. You may remember that nothing is C sharp. So if you aren't absolutely switching at exactly the same time, you are either going to get a C sharp as the C comes down, or you may find that you're playing A before that first finger comes off. The trill won't be quite smooth enough. So instead of with those 2 fingers, you might find that you're going because your fingers are coming off in the wrong kind of orders. Hiya, Sonny, all right? A pint of juice. Wow. So what you do have is this trill key on the side. You play your B, and this one in the middle will take that up to a C. And you can hear the speed that you can achieve in that trill is nothing like this. You would never get that same sort of speed without this trill key on the side. So that is everything. Everything on this instrument. And as I said right from the start, this is everything you need to know for beginners. So that is the entire saxophone taken apart. That is how it works. So this next part of the video is about playing those 2 saxophone tracks. Careless Whisper and Baker Street. And if you are going into being a saxophone player and you're watching these videos with the intention of wanting to be a saxophone player and go out and do gigs and kind of that's going to be your source of income, be prepared for being asked a million times in your life, can you play Careless Whisper and can you play Baker Street? Also be ready for people coming up to you saying, please can I have a go at your saxophone? I promise I can play it. I even know Careless Whisper or Baker Street or anything like that. It's good fun. So let's start with Careless Whisper. Careless Whisper starts with a top C sharp. So you're going to go C sharp with the octave key to a B, then down to F sharp, so that's all of them in this hand and the central key, and then to a D, and you play that twice. So nothing, first finger, middle finger with all of these down to a D, and you play that twice. The only other thing that you might want to add is the very first note is if you start on a D and just run your fingers up to a C sharp. And you can include that F sharp if you want to, but really it's going to be that quick that it doesn't matter if you hit a little F natural in there. I'll do it with the F natural and with the F sharp. So, you know, you're not really going to notice whether you're getting that key note right or not. So we do that twice. The glissando, which is just that run up at the start, only happens on the first one. If you can hear any noises in the background, it's my eldest son. The second section goes A to G. This is still all with the octave key on. A to G to D to B. And this B is the first note that doesn't have the octave key on. A, G, D, B, and the second time you play this, you don't play the B. So it goes A, G, D, B, A, G, D. And the final line goes G with the octave key, F sharp to a D, to a B, and we end up on the G, and that's the G without the octave key. Then we're going to run back up the scale. F sharp, which is everything in this hand, F sharp, which is down the bottom without the octave key, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, and then we get the glissando back into the top. Sorry, it's low F sharp up to F sharp again with the octave key. F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp without the octave key, then D, E, F with the octave key. What you'll also find is on that opening line, the C sharp, B, F sharp, D, the second time you play it, you might want to flick this side D key. You get a nice little ornament of like a little turn at the top. That is how to play Careless Whisper. So this is how to play Baker Street. Baker Street is relatively straightforward, but it is quite tricky in certain ways. There are a few little tricks that you need to do with your embouchure which make it more of a challenge to play. But in terms of fingering, it's not too bad because every line starts with an F sharp with the octave key up to a D palm key, which is this one here, furthest back of the instrument. So F sharp that glissandos, which means slide up to a D onto a C sharp, which is nothing with the octave key, to a B and to an A. Every line starts with that sequence of notes. The glissando, meaning that slide up, is only on the first one. So the first one is, so F sharp, gliss up to that D, C sharp, B, A. They all have that. It's just that every one apart from the first one doesn't have the gliss. The others are, they don't have the gliss in. So all you need to do then is learn the endings of each of those particular phrases because they're all identical. So we're going to go F sharp up to a D, C sharp, B, A, and the first one goes B to C sharp and back very quickly. So you get that B, C sharp, B. The second one does the same start without the gliss, F sharp to D, C sharp, B, A. And then you land on an F sharp and you bend it down and back up. The way you bend is you drop your jaw and then bring it back up. But your lip, you need to use your embouchure and your lip muscles to support the reed as your teeth drop away from your lip and then come back into contact. You got to dip in the tone, in the pitch, sorry. I'm doing two there. So you're going to have that fall off that F sharp. The third one goes. So after you've hit the first A, it's just 4 more A's, if I counted those correctly, down to an F sharp. Four A's down to an F sharp. And the last one is the same as the first one. And then you've got this little line that kind of fades away as Jerry Rafferty's vocals come in, which is E to a D with the octave key. Then you go to a B. That's E, D, B without the octave key, A without the octave key, back to the B, and then finally it goes D, D, 4 times, E to F sharp. And that's Baker Street. I'm going to add the notes after this little section so you can kind of really work out what you're playing. Remember, if it has a little dash next to it, what are those called? Apostrophe next to it, that is with the octave key. If it has 2 apostrophes next to it, it's going to be these palm keys, but there's only one in it, which is this high D. So if you see D with 2 apostrophes next to it, it's referring to this high note. Now, I personally think that those 10 lessons represent everything you need to know right from the start, right from buying a saxophone, getting it out of the box, putting your teeth in, and actually getting up to those 2 really famous tracks, Careless Whisper and Baker Street. There are more things to the saxophone, how we improvise, the way that the embouchure starts to help us to colour the notes that we play. There's a lot more, but for this early stage, I think this is everything that you need to know. If you want to ask me any questions, please leave them below, and you can get in touch with me via Instagram or my Facebook page, and I will leave links below to those. As I've mentioned, I think in every one of these lessons, doing these YouTube videos is something that I really enjoy doing. I get a lot from it, and I like to hear people get in touch and saying that they're making progress with their instrument. So please subscribe, if not like, and if you know anybody that's wanting to pick up the sax and get going with this, please send them to these 12? Put 2 extra ones in. Please send them to these 10 lessons. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you soon. Thank you.